and bang it to bell.
Final 25 seconds now, Benavidez. And now chance at David, and look at this hand speed being displayed. There's a big left hook. Final moments of the sixth. Davis going backwards, getting hammered, and now they are waving in, they throw in the towel, and this one is over.
If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and enjoy the show. What's up, fight fans? I'd like to welcome everybody to my channel. This is Johnny, and today we're going to be going over a fighter with a lot of hype, a lot of pub behind him, also a lot of energy, but we're going to talk about the statistics about his career that often get overlooked, that in my opinion, nobody talks about. Before we talk about those, I want to get this thing started with some facts that we do know about David Benavidez. He goes by the Mexican Monster. He has a nice, shiny record of 28-0 with 24 knockouts, and it's that record, guys, that makes him dangerous. He has an 85% knockout to win ratio, and every time he laces him up, there's a pretty good chance that he's going to win the fight in brutal fashion. Benavidez is only 27 years old. Some of his intangibles: he's 6'2" with a 74.5 reach. He is the younger brother of pro boxer Jose Benavidez Jr. And today we're going to go over his last 10 fights. The reason for this is because it's his most recent performances. A boxer starts out their career with a lot of fights that are litmus tests, fights that their camp can compare them to. You see a lot of records early on in a fighter's career. His opponent's records could be 15-32, 8-17, 1-4, things like that. But as you start evolving in a career like Benavidez has, and you become champion and you become a guy that is at the top of the mountain, every test is the stiffest. It's literally a case of, what have you done for me lately? Boxing's one of these sports where the fandom judges a fighter on their last fight. You're only as good as your last fight. So today we're going to break down the statistics that often get overlooked of David Benavidez's last 10 fights. I also want to clarify something, that these stats are added up on the night that they fight or fought David. For instance, 9 fights ago, he fought Gavril. Gavril's record going into that fight was 18-1. After that fight, it was 18-2. So the combined records are tallied on the night that they fought David. And the reason for this, we're going to then develop a win-loss ratio, adding up all of David's opponents' wins, all of their losses on the night they fought David, and get David's strength of schedule. And the way we're going to do this over his last 10, we're going to start with the Luna fight, then Gavril, Love, Durrell, Angelo, Ellis, Davis, Lemieux, Plant, and we're going to finish with his last fight, Demetrius Andrade. And if you add all of those records up, Benavidez's last 10 is 268 wins with only 20 losses. That gives Benavidez a strength of schedule of 93%. An even more interesting fact is, over the last 10, he finished 8 of those 10 opponents, only going to the scorecards on 2. Against Gavril, a close split decision 9 fights ago, and then against Caleb Plant, a unanimous second to last fight. When I think about Benavidez and I have to pick my favorite fight over his last 10, I love the Caleb Plant fight for a few reasons. Caleb Plant and David Benavidez, if you guys don't remember, had a lot of beef going into that fight. There was a lot of history there, a lot of back and forth in the media, and right when the fight started, the two enter the middle of the ring, they don't touch gloves, and they go at it, and it was a war. And you could get guys with padded records, with big knockout numbers, but if the resume isn't as strong, you don't know how much grit that fighter has. With Benavidez, the Caleb Plant fight was a perfect example of how much grit, how willing is he to go into that dark place. He didn't get the finish, but sometimes it's these fights that matter the most moving forward in a fighter's career, because they know they have something within them that only is tested in wars like the Plant fight. And if you remember, there was some controversy. The referee, Bayless, was allowing Plant to hold, but when Benavidez would hold, it would get broken up. The 8th round had some controversy, and it was a bit back and forth, and it was a bloody, bloody war. Going to the scorecards, you kind of knew that Benavidez had it won, but in no way was it an easy fight. It was one of those fights the next morning, both guys knew that they were in a war. Guys, if you want me to feature your favorite fighter or favorite fight and break it down statistically, let me know in the comments section below. Also, one other thing, Benavidez, who do you think he's going to fight next? I think I know who you're going to say. Let me know in the comment section below.
It's a better fighter because he knows he didn't have to rely just on power.
The most complete performance of his dossier.
And on pressure, he had to rely on speed, wit, body punches.
Benavidez!